Hi everyone, now we are going to start looking for a supplier so that you can narrow down the products on your list and place an order for some inventory. So the first place that we're going to look is Alibaba.com. Alibaba is a huge Chinese website, and basically it's a website where sellers come to connect with buyers. So the buyers are people like us. Sellers, they are often manufacturers or sometimes they're wholesalers. All right, now it doesn't really make too much of a difference whether they're manufacturers or wholesalers, but sometimes if you buy directly from the manufacturer, you can get a cheaper price. But the downside of that is often the MOQ, so the minimum order quantity, will be very high. So a lot of the time we are buying here from wholesalers, but nevertheless, we're still getting good prices. Okay, so how we do this is, first of all, you go to your list. Now I'm going to use this product here, first of all, for an example. It's a marshmallow roasting sticks set of 8. Now they are a little bit over the 10 ounces, but because of the shape of them, they will be quite compact when they're packed in a shipping carton, which is really important and even more important than weight. So what is really important when we are buying from Alibaba is how many units, so how many of the products can be packed together in a shipping carton, because that is going to determine our shipping costs, more so than the actual weight. All right, so this is a marshmallow roasting stick. So over here again on Alibaba, and I'm just going to type this in. Here we are, marshmallow roasting sticks. Now we've got a whole lot of results here, but the first thing I need to do is I need to narrow this down a little bit, because I only want suppliers with trade assurance, and that's what I recommend you do as well. So trade assurance is completely free on Alibaba, and it's protecting your payment. So once you pay for an order, because you do need to pay for it before they ship it, obviously a supplier is not going to ship to you before you've made payment. With trade assurance, you are completely covered if anything should go wrong. So we're going to tick that box. That's going to narrow down the results a little bit, but not a lot, because most suppliers now do have trade assurance, but we still want to have the box ticked just to be sure. Now this is the kind of thing I'm looking for, but let me just scroll down a bit and see if we can find another supplier. Now this supplier here is selling by the piece, not by the set, so that's no use because that would work out too expensive. This supplier here though is selling by the set. Now it does say 500 sets minimum order, but a lot of them will let you have a smaller order if you ask. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. Now before we look at the product details, there's a couple of things we want to check. First of all, we want to know how long has this particular seller been trading on Alibaba. Now here it says 7 years, so that's good. You want a minimum of 2 years, and 3 years is better. We want to know that this supplier is a gold supplier. There is also something called Gold Supplier Plus, which at the stage of making this particular video is a new label. Because it's a new label, a lot of suppliers don't have it. I don't recommend you tick it, not at this time anyway, because it's going to narrow down your results too much. Instead, we want to look here. We know that this supplier's been trading here for 7 years. So that's a pretty good indicator that this supplier is providing a good quality service and good quality products. They are gold suppliers. They have trade assurance. We tick that box anyway. They also have an on-site check. Now, on-site check just means that the premises have been checked to ensure that they exist. We can also see here their rating out of 5, 4.8 out of 5. Now that's pretty good. Anything over about 4.7 out of 5 is fine. We can see that they have done 89 transactions on Alibaba in the last 6 months, equaling $680,000 in sales. So they're doing a lot of volume here on Alibaba. This here gives you the response time and response rate to messages that this supplier receives from buyers or potential buyers. Now we can see that they respond in under 24 hours and the response rate is 90%. That's good because some sellers have a very low response rate, even lower than 50%. Doesn't mean that you can't contact them or you shouldn't contact them, but there's obviously a much lower chance of you getting a response from them if they have a low response rate. This is all looking really good here. We can also click on company profile, so let's do that. Now we can see they were established in 2008, so they've been on Alibaba 7 years, but they were established previously to that. They have the top 3 markets here. North America is 20% of their volume. This is verified, meaning that their business type has been verified, their location is verified, the year established is also verified. It all looks pretty good. Scrolling on down, we can see that they also do quite a lot of trade in Europe as well, in Western Europe. So when you are going to be buying for the North American or the European market, you really do want to know that that supplier already provides products to those markets. That's very important. I would not buy from a supplier. So if I was buying, say, for the Western European market, I would not buy from a supplier who does no trade at all in Western Europe. All right, so let's go back to the product here. Now, let's scroll on down. Now, if you wanted to customize your product, so have a logo put on it, or customize the packaging, they do that as well. So you can purchase it as it is, or you can have it customized. Customization means much higher MOQs though, but nevertheless, they do offer it. Packaging details, export worthy packaging. Delivery time, shipped in 15 days after payment. That's fine. 15 days is okay. Anything up to 30 days is okay. If it's over 30 days, that's getting a little bit too long. So you may want to look for a different supplier if that's the case. Now we want to look at packaging and shipping. Lots of experience in shipping to Amazon, eBay, and other B2C sellers. So this is pretty good because what they are saying is that they will ship directly to Amazon FBA. They have experience of that and they know exactly how to do that. So that's really good. I would definitely be interested in selling this. So what I would do here is I would click on Contact Supplier. In the quantity here, I'm going to change it to 100 or to 50 or whatever it is that I would want to order for my first order. And in here, I'm going to use the template message that's on the PDF. So that's what I would put in here. Now here where it says enter an email address, if I was logged into my Alibaba account, I wouldn't need to do that. And I do suggest that you sign up for an account here with Alibaba. It doesn't cost anything. I suggest you do that before you send any messages to suppliers. But let's just go through this process a couple more times with a couple of different products from Amazon. So next, I was looking at these mosquito repellent sticks. These are pretty good because they are selling well. These will not sell in the winter. These are more seasonal. But if you are selling a seasonal product, you want to have it ready and have it listed at least a month before the season starts. Mosquito repellent sticks, they start selling really well around about May time. So ideally, if you were going to list these on Amazon, you would want to have them ready to sell. So you'd want to have your listing up and your stock at FBA by the beginning of April. That's what I would recommend. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. I'm going to tick the trade assurance box. I've only got 116 here. I haven't got a lot, but let's scroll on down and see what we can find, if we can find anything at all that's suitable. Now, if we don't find what we want on Alibaba, so for example, the minimum order here is 5 tons. These are the same things more or less, but I don't want to order 5 tons. I don't even want a ton. Nothing like that, in fact. Doesn't mean to say we should scrap the product, because in the next lesson, we're going to look at a different way of sourcing. So a different website, a different Chinese website to source from. And that is a little different. So hold on to whatever's on your list, even if you cannot find what you need here on Alibaba. Anyway, let's keep scrolling down. They all seem to have very, very high MOQs. That's not what I want, that's a different thing. I mean, with something like this, where you've got this really huge minimum order quantity, you can ask the supplier for a smaller quantity, but because these quantities are so high, the chances of you being able to get the quantity that you want is probably not that great. Now we can see that these types here, we can get lower quantities, but this is not the type that I was looking at. The type I was looking at is the wooden type. Right, so we'll forget that one, just put that one aside for now. Next, I was looking at these high pressure shower heads, which sell really, really well on Amazon. So we're going to search for a high pressure shower head. Now I did it in advance because otherwise you'd be getting pretty bored watching me doing this. Hold on a moment, we have this ticked, we need to untick this. All right, now let's see what we've got here. Now on Amazon, these sell for around about $30 or $25, round about there, $22 for this one. So somewhere between $20 and $30. There are some that sell for more, but that would generally be the price. All right, now this one here, this is 100 pieces minimum order. We could probably get 50 pieces quite easily by asking. And the price is 50 cents to $2.50. Now, one thing I want to say about price, what you see here is not always the price, and that's why we always need to ask for a price before we make any decisions at all. Sometimes the price that they give you is not what you would see here. So for example, 100 pieces minimum order, the price says 50 cents to $2.50 a piece. Well, for 100 pieces, it's going to be more like $2.50 because that will be considered quite a low order. Now, if you are ordering a larger quantity, then there's a possibility that you would get them as low as 50 cents. But what also happens is that they just put a price on, a range price, which is the range for all their different models. So this company might have 20 or 30 different models at different prices. So they might have a model at 50 cents a piece and a model at $2.50 a piece, if that makes sense. Now this one only has 1 year of history. Just let me open it though, just in case. Right, this one's okay because although it only has 1 year of history, it has the Gold Plus Supplier. So the Gold Plus Supplier, this is a premium seller. So even though this seller has only been 1 year on Alibaba, this would still be okay. Now let's scroll on down, take a quick look at what they have because I don't particularly like this one here. Now they do have others. So this one here looks better. We want to make sure that something like this, that it's really modern looking and it looks really good. Otherwise you won't get enough sales on Amazon. Although this is a really popular product, the high pressure shower head, people want it to look good as well. So we look at this one over here on Amazon. Yeah, I've seen this one on Alibaba and this is pretty cheap to buy. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it again right now, but I did actually find this last week on Alibaba, this exact same one, right? So this is popular. This one here is really popular. So people like this particular design here. Oh, here we go. This is the one here that we just looked at. So let's look at this one. Yeah, this is the same one we just looked at on Amazon. 8 years selling history, Gold Plus Supplier, trade assurance, 4.5 out of 5. That's not very high. I prefer 4.7 or above. However, there's only 4 reviews. So there's not enough reviews to really say one way or the other, because if there's only 4 reviews and 3 people have left 5 stars and 1 has left, say, 3 stars for whatever reason, that's going to really skew the results. You need a lot more reviews than that before you can say whether it means anything or not. So we just can ignore that. Now we can see that they have done 23 transactions in the last 6 months. That's not bad. Response time is less than 24 hours. Response rate is 85%, which is fine. Top markets, their own domestic market, takes up a lot of their market. but they also do 20% to North America. So this is all looking pretty good to me. These are small and light products as well. This is a different model. So there's a very good chance that these guys have got other models, not just this one. Here is the one that we looked at again a moment ago on Amazon. And here's the seller's website, this company's website. And as you can see, they do a lot of shower heads and the prices all look pretty good as well. So yeah, this is one that I would go ahead with. I would go ahead with contacting them. Contact Supplier or get latest price. Get latest price is fine as well. You can do that. Quantity needed. I'm just going to put 100 in here. Input additional details here. So this is where you can again use the template that's on the PDF handout. It doesn't really matter whether you use this form here or whether you use this form here. It really makes no difference. All right, now I had a couple of more here products. So I was looking at wedding cake toppers, which are popular. They are not mega popular, so they're not selling loads and loads, like shower heads are selling loads and loads. Wedding cake toppers are not selling loads and loads, but because they are under an ounce and they are so cheap, you can do a decent profit on these, even at $13.50, so lower than the actual recommended threshold, which is $15.99, because these are under an ounce in weight and because they are so cheap to buy. And these are still a pretty good deal. It's still a pretty good thing to sell on Amazon. I checked these out and I found lots of them. Now, a lot of them do have very high MOQs, but nevertheless, okay, we can still write to the supplier. We can still send a message and ask for that lower MOQ. So yes, because the shipping on these products would be low because of the weight and size of them, you could get away with selling below that $15.99 threshold because you are going to be paying less for shipping for a product like that. Now, the last thing I want to take a look at here, these are very, very popular. They sell a lot. They sell a lot on Amazon. They sell a lot everywhere. They sell all year round, summer and winter. Now, this is just over a pound in weight. It is a little heavy, but we can sell it a little bit more as well. So it kind of evens out, if that makes sense. So let's go over here and check this on Alibaba. So I did my search here. I've got my filter for trade assurance. This one here came up. This is the first one that came up. This is pretty much the same headlamp. Minimum 10 pieces, but for 10 pieces we might have to pay $8 a piece. Now that is a little bit high. We want to try and get a little bit lower than that. What we could do is we can try to negotiate. Only do this once, so only reply once and ask for a better price. Don't keep on doing it. So if they come back and give you a better price, that's it. You've got the better price. Or if they come back and say, sorry, this is the best we can do, that's it. That's the best they can do. So you either take it or leave it. Now, what I suggest you also do is that you don't just limit it to contacting one supplier. So if I was looking for this headlamp, I want to source this, I want to buy some of these or a similar one to this, I would be looking for more suppliers. There's a lot of suppliers for these kind of things. So I would be scrolling on down and I would contact some more. Here's another one here. They're a Gold Plus supplier, even though they've only got 1 year history. So we're okay with that. They haven't done a lot of volume here yet, but even so, Gold Plus supplier and trade assurance. So yeah, that's what we would do. We would contact several, perhaps 3 or 4 suppliers for the same item or similar items. Now, you can't always find 3 or 4 suppliers, but if you can, that's what you should do. And then ultimately you're going to take the best deal. Right, so what do you do once you have had replies that you're happy with and you think you want to go to the next stage? The next stage is to order a sample. So samples are often free, but you will always have to pay for the shipping. All right, but you should order a sample for your first order with a supplier. You want to make sure that the quality is right. You want to be happy. You want to feel that product, see that product, make sure this is something that you yourself would buy. And suppliers are expecting you to ask for a sample because that's what most buyers do. So I do highly recommend you do that. Now, once you have been with a supplier, so you've had previous orders from a supplier and you're ordering different products from that same supplier, you may not necessarily bother with a sample. That's the way I work. If I have a new supplier, I always get a sample. But if I am ordering subsequent products, different products from that supplier, I won't always bother with a sample, because once I am confident in a supplier and in the quality of their products, I don't always feel that a sample is necessary. But if it's a new supplier to you, you've never used that supplier before, I highly recommend that you do get the sample before you go ahead and place any orders. All right, now be sure to download the PDF handout, and I'll see you in the next lesson.